And the pandemic continues to hammer the European motor industry with new figures showing a collapse in sales in April. The number of new vehicles registered was down by more than 3/4 compared to last year. This as the French government is preparing a rescue plan for the sector here. For more, let's speak now to our business editor, Stephen Carroll. Stephen, just how bad are these figures for the industry?
It's the strongest drop in demand on record from the European auto industry body that releases these figures, the ACEA. Now they're saying 76% down, fall in new car registrations in April. In some countries like Italy and Spain, where they would have had among the most severe lockdown measures, sales dried up nearly completely, 98% down in Italy, 97% in Spain in April. Here in France, 88% fall in the registration of new cars in April as well. So really very little happening in that market over the month of April. And that's confirming a trend that had started as lockdown measures were imposed in March as well. Now, this is coming at a time when the French government is working on its rescue plan for the car industry here. They say they'll have that in the next 2 weeks, according to the finance ministry. Car makers here have been able to reopen some of their plants and also dealerships as lockdown measures have been lifted. But the industry is a long way from seeing any sort of recovery. And it's a very important industry here in France, not least because it employs some 400,000 people. So the government very keen to make sure that industry is supported into the future, but say it will be conditional on a shift towards greener cars and electric cars.
And in other news, in Britain, there's been a record jump in the number of people seeking unemployment benefits.
Yeah, that's right. A 69% increase in April of the number of people signing on for unemployment benefits in the UK, giving us just an idea of what sort of impact the pandemic is having on unemployment in the UK and what you can imagine will be similar situations across much of Europe. Now, going into this crisis, the UK actually had record employment, so the jobs market was particularly good in the UK. So this is an indication of even how in a positive market things are being impacted very severely. Of course, it's different region by region as well. In Northern Ireland, claims were up by 90% in April. So a big impact on the markets there. And that's despite the furlough scheme that's in place in the UK, where the government is paying 80% of salaries of workers who can't work because of the shutdown linked to the pandemic. That's a scheme the government has extended until October. And there are similar schemes in place across much of Europe. The idea being trying to keep people in jobs during this crisis so that they can go back to work as soon as it's over. We don't have the figures yet here for France, but we know that more than, for April anyway, in terms of jobless claims, but we know that more than half of the private sector workforce are on the government-supported furlough scheme. And the question will be how many of those people will have jobs to go back to when this crisis is over. We're expecting huge increases in unemployment all across the European Union.
Thank you, Stephen Carroll.